Moses' Hazrat Musa early life is very special. Although he was born a Hebrew slave, he grew up like a prince in the palace of Pharaoh. This gave him a chance to know both the rich Egyptian life and the hard life of his own people. Even though he had a good life in the palace, he later became a brave leader who helped free his people from slavery. His story is full of important moments, like discovering who he really is, facing problems, leaving home, and then being chosen by God to help others. It's like a great adventure with a big purpose. In this video, you'll explore the remarkable journey of Prophet Musa, known to many as Moses, and discover how he rose from the royal courts of Pharaoh to become a timeless symbol of freedom, faith, and resilience. His story is one of courage, divine purpose, and the triumph of justice over oppression. For generations, the Israelites lived in Egypt, initially as honored guests during the time of Prophet Joseph. But as their numbers grew, a new pharaoh came to power, one who viewed them not as allies, but as a threat. Fearing their influence, he subjected them to brutal slavery. The Israelites were forced into hard labor, building cities and monuments under harsh conditions. Their cries of anguish echoed across the land. Pharaoh's cruelty reached even greater depths when he ordered the killing of all newborn Hebrew boys, fearing a prophecy that one of them would rise to challenge his rule. It was in this climate of fear that Moses was born. Miraculously, baby Musa was saved, placed in a basket, and set afloat on the Nile, only to be discovered by Pharaoh's own household. Raised in the very palace of the tyrant, Moses grew up witnessing both the luxury of the royal court and the suffering of his people. As a young man, Moses' heart stirred with compassion for the oppressed. One day, he witnessed an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Hebrew slave, and, in a moment of righteous anger, struck the man, an act that would force Moses into exile. It was during this exile that Moses encountered the divine. At the burning bush on Mount Sinai, God called upon him to return to Egypt not as a fugitive, but as a prophet and liberator. Armed with faith and divine support, Moses was sent to confront Pharaoh, demanding the freedom of his people and setting the stage for one of history's most dramatic struggles between tyranny and faith. Though born into a time of brutal oppression, Moses' life began with a miracle. To save him from Pharaoh's decree to kill all newborn Hebrew boys, his mother placed him in a basket and set it afloat on the Nile. By divine will, the basket drifted into the arms of Pharaoh's own daughter. She adopted him, and Moses was raised in the very palace that sought to destroy his people. Despite his royal upbringing, Moses never forgot his roots. He saw the injustice around him, the Hebrews groaning under the weight of slavery. One fateful day, when he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, Moses intervened and killed the oppressor. Fearing punishment, he fled Egypt and found refuge in the land of Midian. In the quiet of exile, Moses became a shepherd and started a new life. But destiny called him to something far greater. While tending his flock on Mount Sinai, he witnessed a strange and wondrous sight: a bush engulfed in flames that did not burn. From within the fire, the voice of God spoke, "I am the God of your fathers. I have seen the oppression of my people in Egypt. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring them out." Terrified and humbled, Moses resisted at first. But God assured him with signs and the promise of help, most notably through his brother Aaron. Empowered by divine mission, Moses returned to Egypt to confront Pharaoh. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he refused to release the Israelites. What followed was a series of devastating plagues that struck the land of Egypt, each a direct challenge to the false gods and power Pharaoh claimed. Water to blood, the Nile, source of life, turned to blood. Frogs, An overwhelming swarm brought chaos. Lice, dust became lice, infecting people and animals. Fly swarms covered the land, sparing only the Israelites. Disease on livestock. Egypt's animals perished. Boils, painful sores broke out on Egyptians. Hail and fire. A storm devastated crops and land. Locusts. What survived was devoured by insects. Darkness. A thick, paralyzing darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. Deaths of the firstborn. The final, most tragic plague. Every Egyptian firstborn perished, while the Israelites, who marked their doors with lamb's blood as God instructed. The Exodus begins. Crushed by grief, Pharaoh finally let the Israelites go. What followed was the Exodus, a mass departure from Egypt led by Moses. It was the beginning of a new chapter for the Israelites and the fulfillment of God's promise. But Pharaoh's change of heart was short-lived, and what came next was the miraculous parting of the Red Sea and the ultimate deliverance of a nation. The parting of the Red Sea, a miraculous escape. As the Israelites fled Egypt, their hearts swelled with hope and fear. Behind them, Pharaoh's army thundered forward, intent on crushing the fledgling nation once and for all. Trapped between the pursuing forces and the vast, seemingly impassable Red Sea, the Israelites faced what seemed like certain doom. But Moses, guided by unwavering faith and divine command, lifted his staff over the waters. Then, in a breathtaking miracle, the sea began to roar and churn, but instead of swallowing them, the waters parted. Towering walls of water rose on both sides, creating a dry, open path through the sea. With awe and determination, the Israelites stepped onto the seabed, crossing safely to the other side. Behind them, Pharaoh's army pursued only to be swallowed whole as the waters crashed back with unstoppable force. This dramatic moment wasn't just an escape. It was a defining act of liberation and divine intervention. The parting of the Red Sea marked a turning point in the Israelites' journey from slavery to freedom, a testament to faith, courage, and the power of hope against all odds. We'd love to hear from you. What part of Moses' incredible journey resonates most with you? Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't miss our next video where we dive into the lives of other significant historical figures who shaped our world. Hit subscribe and stay tuned.